What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, bringing you guys my team builder and battle for week 1 of season 2 of the PCL, and we are kicking off the season against the Chicago Beartics, coached by Vols Are Awesome. If you guys did miss my draft recap, the link will be in the description, so you guys get a feeling of why I drafted what I did. But for those of you that just want to bypass that, there you see my team in the top right corner, with my mons being Clefable, Nihilego, Incineroar, Crobat, Seismitoad, Vikavolt, Aegislash, Latios, Porygon Z, Blossom, and Mega Gallade. I did explain, if you guys did watch the draft stream, that I did originally have Porygon 2, but coaches were allowed to make one transaction before week 1 battle started, and I decided to drop Porygon 2 for Porygon Z, or in a sense, evolve it, whatever the case, whatever you want to call it. So that is my team, and you see my opponent's team to the bottom right of your screen with the Mew, Milotic, Haxorus, Jolteon, Ditto, Ninjask, Tapu Bulu, Heatran, Donphan, Cryogonal, and Mega Mawile, with his Z users being Mew and Haxorus. Mew and Ninjask, excuse me. And my Z move users are Latios and Vikavolt, and I also want to say that Munium Z is allowed, which I was really bummed about because I didn't want to deal with Munium Z, and it was an oversight on the commissioner's perspective, so I can't really fault him too much for forgetting to include Munium Z. But now that I have to prep with Munium Z in mind, it's just so much harder. Well, not really harder, it's just the main thing I have to change my strategy for is, well, adjust my play style, is to ensure that something like a Double Dance Mew doesn't sweep me in the late game. That's really what it comes down to, and he has a lot of threats on his team, not even going into talking about something like Mega Mawile, which is just can be a big pain for unprepped teams. And then he has Bulutran, which benefits from each other's weaknesses and the strengths, grassy terrain, and all that stuff. But then having to worry about an offensive Mew on top of that, and Haxorus is also a huge problem for my team if it gets up a Dragon Dance, and it could essentially just blow me sideways for the most part. So in terms of prepping with this team in mind, I had the idea of trying to break through his bulkier stuff or his slower mons with my Mega Gallade and pave the way for a potential late game sweep with my Aegislash, which I will get into in a minute. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the team, see what I brought for our first battle in the PCL. So first off, we have our Mega Gallade with Swords Dance, Close Combat, Poison Jab, and Leaf Blade, with 36 HP, 252 attack, and 220 in speed, with a jolly nature, which is enough to outrun a max speed Cryogonal and everything slower than that. So this is my idea, my way of mainly breaking through his fatter mons. If he decides to bring a defensive Mew, it's not that big of a deal. I get some chip damage off on that thing with Poison Jab, hopefully give Snag a poison in the process, and then everything else is just pretty straightforward here. I didn't need any extra coverage because it's pretty much just the entire team neutrally. Close Combat is able to deal with stuff like Haxorus, deals with Jolteon in the Heatran. Poison Jab is there specifically for the Bulu, and Leaf Blade lets me deal with Milotic and Donphan. Even better is the fact that if he does bring the Bulu and I get up to +2, even a max HP, max defense Flame Orb, Milotic with Flame Orb activated, it still drops to +2 Leaf Blade under grassy terrain. So if that situation does come up, I will go for it and knock out the Milotic that way. But other than that, Mega Gallade is just my way of breaking down his team. And for the most part, I'm not really too worried about Ditto, because if Ditto decides to come in and imposter my Mega Gallade, I'm totally fine with that, because I have an Aegislash which is immune to 2 of these 3 moves, and it resists Leaf Blade, so that's not that big of a deal in terms of him copying my Mega Gallade. So, and I have a Crobat too, so which also resists all 3 of these moves, so there's that to take into account as well. Moving on, we have our nice and shiny Seismitoad here, or Seismitone, with leftovers, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Poison Jab, and Knockoff, with 252 HP, 188 defense, and 68 speed. The speed is enough to outrun an Adamant Max Speed Mega Mawile, and hit that thing with an Earthquake before it can hit me with Play Rough or something along those lines. So the idea is to just get up rocks and spam Earthquake as much as I can. Poison Jab is nice for catching the Bulu on the switch, and then Knockoff just to get rid of potential items, scout for Z-Move. If he decides to bring Z-Move, Munium Z Mew, then I can look scout for that. I originally had Scald in this slot for Knockoff, but just looking at it, Scald really only did more damage to Donphan. And the only thing I really feared with Donphan was if he decided to bring like Seed Bomb, which would blow back Seismitoad, obviously, but at the same time, I felt like Knockoff was a lot better in terms of the utility option. Just gives me a way to get rid of items, and it's nice and spammable. The utility is very, very nice in general. So that's the basic idea with Seismitoad: get up rocks and just weaken things with Earthquake, knock things off, and try to catch Bulu if he brings it with Poison Jab. Next up is my Clefable with leftovers, Soft Boil, Toxic, Moonblast, and Seismic Toss with 252 HP, 172 defense, and 84 special defense with a Calm Nature. This is my main way of checking the Mew, or switching in on Mew. If it's more defensive, I can deal with it a lot easier if it is defensive Mew, which because basically I can go for Toxic if he's not packing Taunt, and then I could just spam Moonblast until I can spam Moonblast and Soft Boil until it drops to the Poison. Poison won't affect me because I'm Magic Guard in this game. Might come back to bite me if he's unaware. If I don't bring Unaware, but the main reason for me not bringing Unaware over Magic Guard is because he has that Haxorus, and since Mold Breaker bypasses Unaware, I figured it'd be a waste of time trying to deal with Haxorus as a whole. And like I said, this might bite me if he brings Double Dance Mew, but at the same time, I have some ways of pressuring it offensively with my team. So the investment is enough to guarantee take 2 modest Life Orb Thunderbolts from Jolteon from full, and then the rest I threw into defense to better take hits from the likes of Haxorus. And Seismic Toss, I forgot to mention, is there for specifically for Heatran, as it can pretty much essentially come in for free against Clefable, and I can just go for Seismic Toss, get off a solid 50 HP of damage with my Seismic Toss, and it's very spammable because he has no Ghost type. So there's that. So now next up we have my Aegislash here, which is an weakness policy autotomized with King's Shield, Shadow Ball, and Flash Cannon with max HP, 76 special attack, and 180 in speed. The speed is enough to outrun Adamant Mawile and hit it with a Shadow Ball or Flash Cannon before it can go for Knockoff. And then after an autotomize, I outspeed everything up to a Jolteon. If I recall correctly, I outspeed Jolteon, I outspeed non-Scarf Haxorus, unboosted Mew after an autotomize, and this is just a very nice win con, a late game sweeper, because the combination of Shadow Ball plus Flash Cannon just does a lot to my opponent's team. Like, he has no real safe switch-ins to Aegislash's Dual Stab. The main thing I have to be wary of is if he does bring the Ditto. I cannot let Ditto copy my my Aegislash, because he'll obviously get the boost from the weakness policy. If it activates, gets the speed boost, then with Choice Scarf it outspeeds me. He goes for Shadow Ball, and since I don't have a real Ghost resist on this particular team, it can potentially reverse sweep me with Shadow Ball. So I have to avoid that at all possible if I can. So moving on, we have our Nihilego here, which is Assault Vest with Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power Ground, Grass Knot, and Acid Spray with my EV spreads. It's essentially designed to give my Nihilego a speed boost with every knockout it gets, and this is nice because not only does this essentially hits its entire team neutrally, Acid Spray into Grass Knot can always knock out my Lotic if it's not specially defense invested. Donphan can get knocked out by Grass Knot with a little bit of chip damage. Hidden Power Ground isn't affected by grassy terrain, so Heatran will take the full amount of damage from HP Ground. I can live in Earth Power because of grassy terrain being up, and with my Assault Vest, so that's really nice. This is also my way of taking hits from the likes of Jolteon and taking hits from Mew. If it is more defensive or offensive, I can take at least one Psychic from with my Nihilego from full, so that's also something to keep in mind. And Acid Spray is just to get some chip damage off and lower opponent's special defense from stuff like my Lotic, stuff like Donphan, stuff like the the Cryogonal stuff, among other things. So yeah, like I said, this is just tailored to be enough speed to outrun Haxorus. So I get a speed boost, and I just even it so I make sure my special attack and special defense are 1 point lower than my speed, so I guarantee get the speed boost with my Nihilego. And then lastly, we have our Black Sludge Crobat with Brave Bird, U-Turn, Roost, and Taunt, and with 244 HP, 60 attack, and 204 defense with a Jolly Nature. This lets me take hits as best as I can from the Tapu Bulu, because I didn't really have a switch. I had Aegislash as my switch in, but if he brings Bulu and it's like Nature's Madness, then I would be losing half of my health on Aegislash for absolutely no reason. And with Aegislash being my win con, I don't want my Aegislash to take any damage whatsoever during this battle if I can, which explains my Crobat right here. And now you notice that I'm running a lot of physical defense, and I'm running no speed with a Jolly Nature. This is fine because even though I'm not running any speed investment on Crobat, I do outspeed Haxorus regardless. My Jolly Max Speed Haxorus is like, I believe, 2 points slower than my uninvested Jolly Crobat, so I can still hit that thing up with a Brave Bird or Taunt Hit, prevent it from setting up with Dragon Dances or Swords Dance, whatever the case may be. Go for Brave Bird, get some chip damage off on something, and then U-turn for momentum, and Taunt's also nice for stopping stuff like Donphan for getting up rocks or whatnot, and then Roost for longevity. And that's pretty much it. The HP and defense, I believe, lets me guarantee take a Stone Edge from Bulu after rocks if it's not banded. So like if it's SD Bulu, I can take a Stone Edge from full, go for Brave Bird, and do about 80 to Bulu if he's, depending on his investment. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my team, and without further ado, let's just skip right on over to the battle and see how we fare. Alright guys, so here we are with the battle, and the first thing I notice is the fact that, well, he didn't bring Bulu or he didn't bring Heatran, so me taking advantage of grassy terrain is right out the window, but he did bring the Ninjask, and when I saw that Ninjask, I knew immediately his plan was a Baton Pass speed, which is legal in this league. He can speed pass with Ninjask, but he just can't speed pass speed plus another stat, so he can't Swords Dance Baton Pass into like Mega Mawile and make that thing like a big problem. So there is that, if anything, for small favors. But he did decide to bring his Donphan, Milotic, Ninjask, Mega Mawile, Mew, and the Haxorus. For the most part, I was expecting the Mew, Mega Mawile, and the Haxorus, as well as the Donphan, if he decided to make that his rocker. I thought his Heatran would be more along the lines of a offensive set like Choice Scarf or something along those lines, because it really did pressure my defensive mons. It pressured, like, Aegislash Clefable gets pressured by a Dual Stab, and then it has Earth Power from Nihilego, and they brought like maybe like Power Herb, Solar Beam, or HP Grass to take on my Seismitoad. There was that to take into consideration, but the fact that I didn't see Heatran was a little bit of a relief in my eyes. So with all that being said, let's just jump right into the match. So I figured at this point, I essentially had two leads in this game. I was either going to lead off with my Crobat. If I saw the Donphan, that would be my initial lead. Or if he didn't bring Donphan, then I would have just let off with my Seismitoad, try to get up my rocks early, and then try to hit something hard with Earthquake. Because this Earthquake resist is the Ninjask on this team, unless his Mew is defensive. So, without further ado, let's just hop right into the match and see how we did. So, as you're going to see, I did end up leading off with my Crobat here, because I figured even if he didn't lead Donphan, I'd try to get some momentum with my Crobat in some way, shape, or form. But he does lead off with his Donphan here, trying to get up his rocks early on in the matchup. So here I'm just going to click Taunt to prevent his Donphan from going for rocks here, as that is exactly what he's going to end up doing this turn. So now I'm going to go for the U-turn here, as he's going to go out into his Milotic. On my U-turn, expecting me to maybe Brave Bird or something along those lines. So I'm going to U-turn out, and I'm going to go out into my Nihilego here, because I figured I can take any one hit from this Milotic and go directly for the Acid Spray. As he reveals he's Flame Orb, he's going to switch out his Nihilego, go out into his Ninjask, which was a surprising move, because if I had Power Gem, I would have just clicked it right then and there. But nonetheless, I get the Acid Spray off on this Ninjask as he reveals Leftovers, and from there I am just going to go for a Sludge Bomb here, because I really don't want this thing to start setting up in my face or whatnot. So he goes for the Sludge Bomb here, and now I'm thinking, okay, this thing looks like it's in range of Grass Knot for my Nihilego, so I'm going to go for the Grass Knot, and we are going to get the knockout on the Donphan. And down goes the Donphan, which is great, because that means no rocks on my side of the field. I get the speed boost, so we're looking good here. As he sends back out his Ninjask, I'm going to go for the Sludge Bomb here as he goes for the Protect. So he's trying to go for the jugular here, as he is just going to go for the sub here, get another speed boost in the process, as I am just going to Sludge Bomb again, break the sub, need to keep the pressure up on this Ninjask, but there's really nothing I can do in the situation, because I can't stop him from subbing or whatnot. So at the very least, I just want to just keep spamming Sludge Bomb. Of course, the only thing that sucks is if he goes out into his Mawile here, as he goes to Protect again. And here I really wanted to click HP Ground, but I figured he would try to just keep speed boosting to the point where he gets to +6, and then just guarantee outspeed everything. But he's going to make the Baton Pass play now into his Mawile. I really wanted to play HP Ground, but I couldn't be aggressive for no reason. So I clicked the safe Sludge Bomb, not going to pay off here. And now I'm going to go for HP Ground here, because I can't let the Mega Mawile set up for free on my switch out. And it still reveals I'm still faster, and I go for HP Ground. He goes for Swords Dance, so I made the aggressive play, but I felt like I made the correct play, because I couldn't let him set up for free, like I said. I go for Hidden Power Ground again, and I'm going to just miss out on knocking out the Mega Mawile here, as the Mawile is now going to take out my Nihilego with the Iron Head, and now things are not looking good, because this Crobat, I could set on my Crobat, and he goes for Sucker Punch, but I'm going to live on a sliver of health, and we're going to knock out the Mawile here. I will talk about that at the end of the game, but I'm going to U-turn in case I did live, and we're going to knock out the Mega Mawile, as I said. Go out into my Seismitoad, he goes out into his Milotic. I can take any one hit from this Milotic here. I'm going to get him my rocks, because this ensures that the Ninjask doesn't just come in for free and just repeat the process all over again. He goes for the Ice Beam, gets the crit, which kind of sucks, but at the same time it doesn't really matter that much as far as I'm concerned. So now after I get my rocks, my Seismitoad, I'm just going to go for Earthquake here, because what I want to do is put him into a certain range where I can now freely go out into my Gallade on the predicted recover, go for a Swords Dance, and essentially hope I don't get Skull Burn. So I'll make that play right now as I go out into my Gallade, as he is indeed just going to go for the recover here. So now my Mega Gallade is in. My Leaf Blade's not going to do that much damage, so I figured go for this the Swords Dance here, and of course I'm playing a 70-30 a 70-30 game here with the Scald here, but I'm gonna go for Swords Dance. Get to +2. He's gonna go for Scald. Gonna do a good chunk on my Mega Gallade. Doesn't get the burn. So this +2 Leaf Bite is going to hurt. Unfortunately, it's not going to knock it out, obviously. If I get a crit, maybe. But anyway, he goes for Scald again, and this time he does get the burn on my Gallade, but that's fine because my low tick is all but gone with the next attack. I go for Poison Jab here in case you try to preserve it and go on it to Mew. So my low tick is now down, and now it's now 5-3 in my favor. In comes the Ninjask again, as I am now going to just keep spamming Poison Jab. He's going to go for Protect. Gets the Poison. I go for Poison Jab. I'm just going to keep spamming Poison Jab until I drop. I also get to scout and see what his last move is on this Ninjask as he goes get the Speed Boost. And he reveals his move being Leech Life. So now I see his Ninjask full moveset of Sub, Baton Pass, Protect, and Leech Life. My Mega Gallade's going to drop here, but Gallade essentially did its job for the most part. So now I'm going to go out into my Crobat on the on this Ninjask, and what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to spam Brave Bird, because no matter what he goes out into, since his flying resist is gone, or everything bulky on his team is gone, the way he's preserving the Mew makes me think it is indeed offensive. So I'm just going to spam Brave Bird, get some damage off on something until I essentially drop to whatever. So he's going to Baton Pass here again. He's going to go out into his Mew, take the Stealth Rock damage. I take the go for the Brave Bird here, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to get some chip damage off on this Mew no matter what. I get a crit here, which is good for me, obviously, but I also wanted the Rico to knock out my my Crobat just so the Mew wouldn't get the kill, and I would have been able to send out my Aegislash a lot faster, because, but, alright, I'm misremembering things, it's been a while. So now I go onto my Seismitoad here, and I'm thinking, okay, the only way he would knock out my Seismitoad is if he goes for the Z move. Like, if he's modest, he cannot knock out my my Seismitoad without clicking that Z move. So him going for the Z move now is both bad and at the same time it's good, because what it means is he doesn't have the Z move for the Clefable, which is the most important thing. So my Seismitoad is going to go down here to the Genesis Supernova as a Psychic Terrain goes up. I send out my Aegislash, and I'm going to click Shadow Ball here because it's more of the sense that I didn't want the Aegis. I didn't want Mew to get up a nasty plot on like a King shit or whatnot. So I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball here and knock out the Mew, because like I said, it's a big threat. It's already at +3 speed. So I knock out the Mew with the Shadow Ball. In comes the Haxorus, and now this essentially is a 50-50 here, as I'm going to actually pause for a second. So the first thing I want to talk about here is this particular turn, because this was pretty much a make or break turn in the battle here. So there's essentially 4 scenarios that happens here. I can go for King Shield. I go for King Shield, he attacks me. I go for King Shield, he sets up with Dragon Dance or Swords Dance. I Shadow Ball on the Dragon Dance, or I Shadow Ball on his presumed attack. I'm assuming it's Earthquake. The thing is, if he sets up to +1 or he's Swords Dance, I would lose the game right there. Because Swords Dance, and I'm assuming it's Life Orb since his Mew was the Z-Mon. Well, it had to be, because Haxorus wasn't a Z-Mon anyway. But in any case, if I let this Haxorus set up for free, and I went for King Shield, I would have lost. Because he could have then EQ'd my Aegislash. I go onto my Clefable, and he would Poison Jab the Clefable. It drops, I lose the game. If I stayed on the aggressive here, I click Shadow Ball without clicking no Autotomize. If I Shadow Ball, and he sets up, I knock out the Haxorus with Shadow Ball. And at this point, I didn't realize that the Ninjask was dead to rocks. Like, I wasn't paying attention, and it's hard to keep track of Pokemon that aren't on the screen, you know? Like, Wi-Fi battling and Showdown battles are two different things. But I was kicking myself a little bit, only for the fact that I kind of wish I went for Autotomize on the Mew, because as long as the second Shadow Ball didn't crit Aegislash won right here. I wouldn't even be in this 50-50 situation, because Aegislash would outspeed this Haxorus. I click +2 Shadow Ball, knock out the Haxorus, Ninjask dies to rocks, I win 2-0. But because I didn't go for that Autotomize play, I'm kind of pushing myself to being in an aggressive situation, and I had to be, considering how he played this game and then what team he brought. So, with that being said, I felt like it was in my best interest to click Shadow Ball this turn. If I could not risk him setting up for free. This goes back to the Mega Mawile versus Nihilego situation, where I couldn't let Mega Mawile go for Swords Dance without me trying to get off damage with my Nihilego. If he goes for a Sucker Punch or anything of that sort, I can take one Sucker Punch no problem with Nihilego. This situation is essentially the same thing, although of course this decides the outcome of the battle here. So I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball. Not going to risk going for King Shield and he goes for setup move. I want him to knock out my Aegislash, because as long as he doesn't set up, there is no way that Haxorus can knock out my Clefable from full, even if he does have Poison Jab, because I do have enough defense investment to take even a Choice Banded Poison Jab, which he obviously can't be, because if he locks him the Poison Jab, he can't touch Aegislash. So if he's Life Orb, he definitely won't take out my Clefable with an unboosted Poison Jab. Well, Life Orb boosted Poison Jab, unless he crits me. So I'm going to go for Shadow Ball here. Sorry for dragging that out. And he clicks Earthquake here on my Shadow Ball, which is totally fine by me, because it means that he did not get free setup that turn. So my Aegislash is going to go down here. He reveals the Life Orb. I got into my Clefable. I'm going to click Moonblast. I can take any one hit from this thing, and he reveals he doesn't have Poison Jab. I take half health from the Earthquake, but that is more than enough for my Clefable to go for Moonblast, knock out the Haxorus. And his last Pokemon is the Ninjask, which is only attacking move with Leech Life, but the Ninjask is going to drop to Stealth Rock damage. That kill is going to go to my Seismitoad, and we are going to start the season with a 1-0 win over the Chicago Beartics. So, first and foremost, that game, sorry about that. There we go. So, yeah, my first Wi-Fi game in roughly 2 months, and it came down to the wire, like most of my games have been these days. But just to clarify a couple of turns now that I have time to elaborate on the battle itself. So, first and foremost, I was really, really frustrated with that Mega Mawile lived those 2 HP grounds. Like, if it was one time, I wish I did not try to get crazy with my Nihilego and just left it max speed and put more EVs into special attack. I would have 2-hit KO'd the Mawile, no doubt. Or if I had brought Expert Bell over Assault Vest, I would have definitely knocked out the Mawile with 2 HP grounds, but that didn't happen, and it essentially came to a situation where I essentially should have lost this game 5-0 to that Mawile, but it turns out that he actually overlooked the fact that my Nihilego got a speed boost after it knocked out the Donphan. He thought my Nihilego got a special attack boost and was wondering why my Nihilego still outsped a Mega Mawile that was at +3 speed. That is essentially what happened. And then when he saw that, he thought essentially that my Crobat would be faster than his Mega Mawile at +3 speed. So he went for Sucker Punch. If he had Iron-Headed my Crobat, I would have lost 5-0. Hands down. Like, that right there, me not getting me not knocking out the Mega Mawile with that HP ground, essentially I would have lost the game right there. But he went for Sucker Punch. I mean, he crit me, I still lost. There's also that to take into consideration, but oh man, what a way to start the season. It was just one big roller coaster of emotions, a lot of ups and downs. The Mawile threw me off. Not threw me off. The Mawile essentially would have swept me, hands down. In any case, the Aegislash, I could not. I really wanted to autotomize on the Mew Shadow Ball, but I could not risk the second Shadow Ball critting at that point in the battle. So I went straight for the Shadow Ball and the Mew. He was already at +3 speed from the speed boost. If he nasty plotted, I definitely would have lost. So it was just a lot of risk that I just couldn't take. It was just me staying on the aggressive with Aegislash, with Nihilego, trying to keep the pressure up on his team, not let him set up for free. And yeah, it just came down to those particular turns with the Mega Mawile, the Mew, and even the Haxorus 50-50 was something that I could have done a little bit differently had I gone for Autotomize, but at the same time, it's just comes down to not letting him get up a free setup opportunity, and that's essentially what I was trying to avoid, and luckily that didn't come back to bite me in this particular game. But this particular win didn't really, like, it was a win that I felt like I didn't deserve because of how the Mawile should have essentially swept me, and it was a lapse in judgment that bailed me out, essentially speaking. But in any case, I'm really happy with how the team went overall. Every Pokemon on my team got a kill, which is amazing in terms of, from a statistic standpoint, just having all your Pokemon getting a kill just shows that every Mon on the team played a role in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, just gonna end it there. Good game to Rick. He had a phenomenal team. That speed pass really was annoying to deal with, especially considering I brought a team with no hazard, with no phaser, essentially, and it was just really annoying to try to deal with. Me getting up, of course, the pivotal thing was me getting up Stealth Rock with my Seismitoad. If I didn't get up Rocks and Ninjas, would have just been baton passing, speed passing all over the place, and I just could not have that happen. So yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this battle. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. My opponent's links will be in the description down below as well. We start the season off with a win, and that's always a good sign in my book. So, with all that being said and done, I'm going to get the heck out of here. And until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.